Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show. Mike is here. J. Chris Newberg is here. Garrett is here. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
What's up?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
You are?
Yeah, I'm always excited, but today I'm more excited.
Why is that? Any particular reason or just in general?
Oasis.
I'm miserable in life and you are very happy in life, so
That's true.
I'm excited. What do you got?
Oasis announced that they're going to tour again,
Oh, wow.
but it's not going to be the same without George Harrison and John Lennon.
Agreed. That's not bad.
That's solid.
Yeah.
What are you
Didn't you open for Oasis at one point?
Long time ago.
Yeah. One of my favorite bands. They're fucking amazing, man. So the brothers are getting back together?
Yep.
Smart.
Yep.
They'll command hundreds of dollars a ticket. They'll sell out massive stadiums instantly all over the world. It's crazy.
It'll be big.
It'll be huge.
Yeah, they're
It's
already
so funny.
doing stadiums.
What's that?
They've already started booking stadiums.
Yeah. And if they want, they'll do, festivals too and do 200,000 people. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how that goes. I was watching I don't know if it was a Facebook reel or one of those. There's a lot of them in my feed because I love, like the grunge scene from the 90s. I'm a big fan of that. And so a lot of that stuff gets thrown into my feed. Sitcoms that I liked, shit like that will pop up too. But one of them was it was Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic sitting down talking, and they were beside themselves. They're like, what? Because whoever was interviewing them was like, yeah, Madonna is charging $50 a ticket for her latest tour. And they're like, $50? What the fuck? And they're just like, beside, like, who, why would anyone? And they're like, what are we charging? And they're like, I think they settled on like $17.50 for a ticket. And it's bonkers. It's not normal inflation in that industry the way it's going. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're just fine now being like, yeah, it's $1,000 a seat to see whoever.
I went to Michelle had to go see Alanis Morissette for her bachelorette party.
Oh God,
$3,500 for the meet and greet.
Wow. She didn't pay that, did she?
No, I know someone else who paid it.
Did you really? You paid $3,500. Why did she have to go meet Alanis Morissette?
She wanted to do it was like, I guess, a meet and greet and a breathing thing and yoga with Alanis, and it was
God.
It's white woman shit.
Yeah, I know. It's what she wanted it's what she wanted, it's what she got.
Yeah.
But it was like
shit.
It was like one of those things where I was like, oh cool, it's only $1,000 a ticket because I did it for her and her friend. But then it was $1,500 in convenience fees.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's bananas.
It's insane. Like, dude, I am just fine. I've pulled them out before. I have right here on my desk, I have ticket stubs from concerts I've been to over the years, right? Yep. And some of them are expensive shows. You go see Paul McCartney and it was $250 a ticket.
Oh.
20 years ago, but it's like, yeah, I saw McCartney, I saw Prince, I saw Elton John. Those were pricey tickets, but for the most part, so many of my tickets are a $2 service charge and $12, $15, $20, $30. This obscene jump, and I'm sure you can blame all kinds of things on this, and I won't pretend to know the ins and outs of what do they call it now? Something ticketing. But this idea of seeing Alanis Morissette for $1,000 a ticket and $1,500, I mean, that seems
that wasn't even for the ticket. That was just for the meet and greet. The tickets were more. I mean,
it's just outrageous. And Alanis Morissette, I'm sorry, like Alanis Morissette's great. She had one tremendous album, and then she kind of disappeared, let's be honest, for 20 years. Alanis Morissette.
She never works again off that record.
Right.
There's no need.
But now, really, you can justify. I mean, I suppose if people will pay it, get yours. It's insane to me, these the amounts of money that people are making. And I don't know, is that a kickback to like, well, we don't make money off albums anymore, so
100%.
You think that's what it is totally?
Yeah, because no one's catalog is doing anything.
But then, well, I guess they can still sell their catalog. Like, if you told me the Beatles catalog was worth $1 billion now, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I bet it is.
It's probably 2 billion, but it's like that's the Beatles. I mean, Gene Simmons is a smart dude, and what did he just sell his catalog for 250 million, 400 million? Because he's like, it's done. He said, there's no way, in the traditional sense, there's never going to be a band, or it's going to be very, very rare, where there's going to be a band that's going to have a catalog where the albums make money because everything's downloaded and shared and included in your streaming platform for the month. So it's very rare for people to buy stuff.
But if you have hits, you can make money off hit. Like if you still have a band that has just bangers, like you see, like back in the day, if you watched a great movie, like the catalog might be, like rock music, and it's just some bullshit soundtrack. Like we know now that these songs, you can make a tremendous amount of money if you're one of the lucky ones that can have your absolute smash song that everybody loves in a soundtrack like that. I mean,
yeah, sure. But I mean, it's like Steven Tyler said a few years ago, the only reason he did American Idol is so he could purchase a home. You know what I mean? That's Steven Tyler with how much money they had and whatever. He bought his dream house in Hawaii. And it's like, and if you think, I bet Aerosmith sells their catalog next, now that they're off the road and he can't sing anymore, they'll sell the catalog.
For sure. And why not? I mean, one last money grab, they're not going to be able to do a fake final tour bullshit and rape all their fan base. They're not going to be able to do that because, he's got the injury to his throat and he's not going to be able to sing anymore. But yeah, it's fucking wild, dude. It's wild what's going on. Don't you guys, I'm pretty sure there's a couple stores, maybe off Sunset, maybe in a few places that sell the music rights to songs. Like you can go in and buy songs. Do you know what I'm talking about, Chris?
I don't.
And you can buy ownership of certain songs, like, a percentage of them or.
Oh, really? I'll have to look at that. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, I think
this is probably old shit, right?
I think a lot of it is, but I think anybody can sell their stuff. So I don't know if it's like a BMG thing or what, but there's like publishing firms I want to say there's one by the Scientology, the giant Scientology cult building down on Sunset. I think there's an office by there, and you can go in there and buy, Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog or whatever. You can probably, that would cost you a lot, but
there's a lot of businesses like that. It's copyright exchanges is what they're called. So you can kind of go in and just purchase copyrights and stuff that are up for grabs.
That's cool.
I think these are actually licensed songs, though, that you can take ownership of.
Maybe like the copyright of that song is now yours, or the song itself, so you can use it wherever you want. It's your song now.
And then if all of a sudden, like Tarantino decides he wants to put Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog in a movie, and you own it because you bought it for $5,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you're set.
Exactly. For someone like me, I can't help it as the collector nerd in me. Gets off on stuff like that. Just like I own that, like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
History is really cool.
It's a lot like early internet where people used to fight for domains. So if you could get, sex.com, you were selling that for millions. Every site wants that.
Yeah, they say that. I don't know how much of that's true.
There are a couple that went for a lot.
Probably.
I mean,
which is why you see everybody with Real Eddie Vedder at Real Eddie Vedder. It's like, because the fucking smart nerds in the beginning went and stole everybody who was anybody early Twitter handles. They grabbed all those names.
They'll sell them to you.
Some fuckhead had the Chris Army for a while. I was pissed.
Really?
Yeah, that's all right. I just waited him out.
No shit. Yeah, is that what you did?
Yeah, like you can be .org. I'm like, you can fucking be .org.
Yeah, you be .org. I don't want to be .org. Did he know you wanted it?
No, it was just unavailable. And I mean, it's because I let my website expire, and then they snapped it up. So, I won't let that happen again.
I think TDC was like that at one point too, or maybe even the Detroit cast. And it was I can't remember I can't remember. It was years ago, but I grabbed that.
Jackhole.
Yeah. You know what? I went through a few names that I was considering, and there were some of them where it was like, oh yeah, you can get .org, .edu, and it was like, no, without .com, it's fucking bullshit. I don't want anything to do with it.
Can I guess some of the original incarnations of the
Sure.
name?
Go ahead.
Was one step up to the mic, and it's just like you with like your hands like that over a microphone where your pants were?
No, but Into the Mic was one.
No, it was not.
Yeah, I swear to God it was. Because, and Garrett, you probably remember this, back in the day, Easus would talk all the time. He would be off mic, and me or Jay would go, into the mic, into the fucking mic. We would want him to talk into the mic. And so we would yell at him every day for years. Into the mic, you son of a bitch. And so it was like, maybe we call it Into the Mic.
How about, were you friends? Did you ever have a partner named Ike?
No.
Because then it would be Mike and Ike.
Yeah. I have a feeling that one's taken. Yeah,
how about,
we can check the copyright store.
How about now that we've added the humor component to the show?
When?
Just now. You're watching the Chocolate Factory work.
Yeah.
How about we call it Mike Me Laugh?
Mike Me Laugh. That's not bad. You'd be shocked how many things are not available. You need to come up with stuff that is not, something that is any sort of a common phrase at all. Those are fucking long gone.
Yeah.
So
like that's what I'm tacoing about. Would be good if we did tacos.
What was it? What did you say?
That's what I'm tacoing about.
Yeah.
If it was a food podcast.
What was the stupid one you said about Mike a second ago?
Mike Me Laugh.
Mike Me Laugh. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Me Laugh was gone. It wouldn't surprise me. We could Google it. Maybe it is available, but Mike Me Laugh. Yeah. Any asshole named Mike that thinks he's funny.
I think that you should do we should. This is my favorite segment of the show right now. You could make it a positive.
Oh my audience feels the same way.
Yeah,
this is their favorite segment of the show too.
No, so you just how you said you're a negative person.
Yeah, horribly.
But we reprogram you to being positive, and we call the podcast Mike My Day.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. No, that's why you're here, Chris, is because I'm hoping that your positive influence and outlook on life rubs off on me.
So far, it's just making me angry.
See, he's as good as you, dude. Anybody can do this. Garrett's never done this before.
To bring it into some actual modern news and that ticket talk you were talking about, Ticketmaster is actually in a serious federal lawsuit right now for price gouging.
Yeah.
Of course.
They should be.
Of course.
I don't know what you do about it. It is capitalism at its finest if a band can get it. But it's, this idea we live in a society that looks out for the little guy. It's like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
It's rape with a hard R.
We'll look out for the 12,000 richest people in every community, and those people can go enjoy their favorite bands. And you can watch stupid videos of them on YouTube.
But what's huge now is like tribute bands are fucking huge now.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to go hear somebody. They want to see live music. They want to see somebody that sounds like somebody else. Yeah. And they don't want to pay $10 billion. If you can say you can pay $10 for cover charge, they're so popular.
And you know what? Like, you can go see the original Van Halen, back when David came back. And it's like, yeah, dude, there are guys out there that do David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen better than David and Eddie.
I was going to say.
And you go see Steel Panther's lead singer is fucking unbelievable. And he was in a David Lee Roth tribute band for a while, like a Van
Atomic
Halen
Punk.
Thing. Is that what it was called? Mm-hmm. And dude, he's great.
Yeah, Ralph's great.
I don't know him. Do you know him at all?
I've met him. I used to, in one of my most embarrassing recollections of my existence around 2010, 2011, like whenever the flip phone, or not the flip phone, the flip cam was a thing. I used to go watch Steel Panther every Monday at the Key Club, and Dane Cook would get up on stage and sing Running with the Devil, and I would sit on stage and film him doing it.
Really? With a flip phone?
With a flip cam.
Flip cam? Yeah.
Yeah. It was it was a quality point in my life.
Yeah. Do you still have those videos, by the way?
I don't.
Yeah.
No. But if I did, it would just be me sitting around going, what am I doing?
Yeah. Why were you doing that? Just to be supportive of Dane?
I think at that point in my career, I think it was just like, I'd lived in LA for 6 or 7 years. I was so poor. And I finally had an opportunity to hang out with somebody who was working, and it was presenting me with work opportunities. And also, he didn't really have any friends because he was just so polarizing. Well, so I would hang out with him all the time, and he would always want to go. It was pretty funny. It was like always we would go to a club and he doesn't drink and I would, and then he would leave 25 minutes later with some knockout.
Yeah.
And then I'd be stuck there.
Was he massive at this point? He was huge then, right?
He was
Is this like the MySpace days? Like when he was the biggest comic in the world?
No, this was tail end of that, but still like he did very well for himself with the gals.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And to the point where one time I was sitting with Chris Pine and Chris Captain America, whoever that guy is.
Evans. Chris Evans. Yeah.
Chris Evans, Chris Pine, Dane, and Chris Pine looks over me and he goes, "Wow, Dane gets so much pussy." And I was like, "What the fuck did you just say? Yeah. Have you not seen you?"
That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it was a blast. It's weird to me anytime I hear you tell stories about Dane not drinking at all is just kind of like the idea of going to the club and not drinking. But I guess they perform in clubs a lot, so I guess it shouldn't be that weird. But it seems weird. And the other comic that's sex allegations against as well, who was on Whitney Cummings' TV show.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that guy.
You don't?
I know who he is. I don't.
Yeah, but he was another one that didn't drink at all. It was like stone sober. I don't know. I can't remember his name, but
it was alleged.
Chris D'Elia.
Yeah.
Chris D'Elia. Yeah.
Yeah, but he never got in any trouble. He seemed to escape it.
They've tried,
but the culty stuff, the tattoo stuff.
Oh, did you watch the YouTube special?
I watched a couple of them. They're fun. I don't have any allegations for him because I'm not involved, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stuff. I mean, he was accused of a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
and he suffered.
Trying to run a sex cult is one of them.
Oh my gosh! I mean, like he was one of those people that I knew when I was first starting, and he was when I first moved here, and he was first starting. But like, I didn't hang in the same circle with that kid at all. We didn't have anything in common.
Yeah. Well, his star shone bright for a minute, and then the shit came out. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still got over 1 million followers on Insta, I think, and I think he still does theaters.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's still real. He's just not popular here because he's not allowed to perform most places here.
Yeah. That's what I remember.
Allegations.
Yeah, they'll haunt you, whether true or not. I have no reason to doubt them, but I don't. I mean, doubt the allegations. I don't know these people at all. And
I have no comment.
Yeah, I bet you don't. But I know enough about celebrity, and I know enough about seeing how people behave around them to know that it's super, super fucking easy to take advantage of chicks, of situations. Like that's just, I'm not blind to that. So it doesn't surprise me that, you're going to have scorned women and people that feel like they were taken advantage of. Like, I don't know what the story is, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, anybody who read The Dirt knows that it wasn't very difficult for those bands to hook up.
Nope. One of my favorite stories ever, putting a phone inside a chick's vagine and making her call her mom.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Nikki used to brag about that shit. Now it's like, oh yeah, we just got to respect all people and women, and
you got to outgrow that. I mean, he's got kids now.
Oh yeah, but he's like, dude, that book came out when they were 50.
Yeah,
like you didn't have to put that book out. Like I've been reading that shit as a Crew fan forever, since they were 20.
I did during the Generation Swine tour. I was a runner when they played at State Theater and when Vince came back, and the women outside trying to get their attention were like shirts off, whipping stuff around, and it was just very entertaining. Yeah.
The circus one was a really good tour. I don't think Generation Swine was well received.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, but the circus, I can't remember the name of it, but that was a really good tour, really good show. Kind of put it all back together, and brought it as much as Motley Crue can. But
anyway. that was right around when Konstantinov injured himself, because I had to drive around for fucking 8 hours and find a Konstantinov jersey for Vince to wear for 10 seconds.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like he literally walked out on stage with it on for like one song, took it off, whipped it over to the side.
And you had to go scour Metro Detroit for a Konstantinov jersey?
I found one in Wyandotte.
Seriously? What did you? Now, I'm assuming you didn't drive around, that you actually called ahead.
Oh yeah, this was not when the internet was the coolest thing in the world. This was phone calls.
This would have been 97. 97.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of internet then, was there?
No, I know. No. A little bit. But it was slow, and it took forever for one picture to come up. Yeah, I remember those days prepping a morning show, and it was like we had all that technology, but we hardly used it.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, we were ripping out of magazines and papers for the most part. I started to watch. I'm about 25 minutes into your documentary, McNair. The murder of Air McNair. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of input on that yet. It's becoming crystal clear, what happened here when you surround yourself with certain people and kind of like, you never wish anything on anyone, but like that shouldn't surprise people how that went when you're running around, not really hiding it, that you're banging some 19-year-old Dave and Buster's waitress while you're married with kids.
What are you doing? Like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, you bought her a car.
Yeah. Bought her a.
Wait till you get to the end of it. Wait till you get to the end of it, because there's that. You haven't got to the private investigator stuff coming up.
Well, it started. What's that? They give a theory.
There's a conflicting theory that he was murdered by some like dude who just got out of jail who shot him, and he was jealous because some dude was allegedly also dating that 21-year-old girl.
Yeah, the Dave and Buster's waitress.
Yeah.
They just showed a clip of him. It looks like sitting in the investigator's office about to be interviewed. So I haven't even got to where they've talked to him. I don't know anything about him.
No, not that kid. That's her ex-boyfriend. There was another dude.
Yeah. Well, it just seems weird. It's like, when your buddy's going and talking to the police and he's like, yeah, we had this crib, and they called it something like, some cheeky, stupid fucking name, which is basically like, yeah, my rich friend has a place that he can go bang chicks in, essentially is what this condo is. And it's like, yeah, we call this the cat house. And it's like, yeah, you don't want your friend telling investigators about the cat house that you've got, so you can bang chicks. And these guys all have guns. Most of them aren't registered or licensed. And you're just like, what kind of crew are you running around with, dummy? Right. What are you doing? You're a fucking superstar, recently retired NFL quarterback. Like, and I don't know where this goes. I'm going to watch the end of it as soon as we're done here. But I wanted to let you know that I'm taking it seriously, Chris. You told me something interesting, and so I'm intrigued. But you could just see the writing on the wall. Like, yeah, this isn't going to play out well. This isn't going to go well. Sounds like you're surrounding yourself by some knuckleheads, and that whole thing of being that high profile and no shame running around with a 19-year-old Dave and Buster's waitress. Like, no offense to 19-year-old Dave and Buster's waitresses, but a little bit.
But what would you, Garrett, how old are you?
26.
Okay. And Mike, you're how old?
51.
Would you even know what to fucking talk to a 19-year-old girl
about? Fuck no.
I mean,
no.
What the? Not a chance.
No. You are strictly looking at them as a piece of meat. There's no way around it. Like, I can look at a 19-year-old walk by and go, God damn, I remember those days. I remember banging those. Like, those days are over, but I remember them. And there's no doubt when I'm 80 years old, I'll probably still look at that girl and go, damn, and go, remember those days? Those days were fun. Those girls existed, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so you can look at them like that. But the idea of having anything in common with them, finding some, like, we're going to sit down and discuss the world together. Like, no, it just doesn't work like that.
I have a joke that's similar, not that to what you basically is almost exactly what you just said. Is like, when I used to see a beautiful woman with her, like, long eyelashes, tan, jewelry, boobs out, extensions in her hair, and I'd be like, what's her story? But now I'm like, I have no interest in reading that book.
Yeah.
Like zero, no chance. It would be exhausting.
It's a young person's game. Like that whole scene is a young person's game. And as we get older, it's just like, no. But money does strange things to people. I guess it's not always just money, but money does. Like the amount of high profile dudes we see, like Leonardo DiCaprio is famous for banging 20. Like they hit 26 and you got to go. Like gone. It's like he can have a gaggle of 24, 25-year-olds on his yacht partying in Barbados or wherever the fuck he is in the world. And he's our age. He is. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you just want these chicks who are absolute 10s in bikinis on your boat getting shit-faced. Like, you can afford to do it, so that's what you're doing.
He's a child star, though. Most child stars are fucked up.
Yeah, true. But, we see it all the time. You see it everywhere, and Madonna's no different. Every time you look at Madonna, this like fucking weird looking fucking aging horribly rotted pumpkin look like Drew calls her. Did you see her? She's always running around with some 25-year-old Italian male model. Like she's doing the same thing,
Good for her.
Yeah. I mean,
and good for him if that's what he's into. Like if you're
rotted pumpkin look,
whatever. There's absolutely somebody for everybody. You see couples that you're like, wow, okay, and someone. It doesn't mean who we're attracted to is who everyone's supposed to be attracted to. And if Madonna has made a lot of people happy. She's made a lot of people money. She's been very successful. She represented Detroit very well. And if she likes to get dick from 25-year-old dudes, good for her. And if Leo's made a lot of really good movies, he's made a lot of people happy. And if he wants to fuck children,
then we got a problem. Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of where I land on it too. It's like, hey man, you're always going to have people that are willing to just be around you, and like they're willing to do anything just to be around you. But anyway, I'll continue watching the murder of Aaron McNair is what we're talking about. Former Houston Oilers, number 3 overall draft pick, and then Tennessee Titans. They moved the next year to Tennessee, became the Tennessee Titans franchise. He was their, franchise quarterback back in the 90s. And he was tragically murdered one day out of it's one of those weird stories that happen all the time. And, a couple times a year, once a year, all of a sudden, like the whole world is like, holy shit together. Like this happened. And Steve McNair would fall in that category. It's like, we all woke up one day and got news that this, Hall of Fame level quarterback, Super Bowl appearing quarterback. They didn't win that Super Bowl, or did they?
1 yard.
They're the ones. Dyson came up a yard short in that Rams Super Bowl. Yeah. It was one of those where you wake up and it's like, holy shit, Steve McNair at 30 some years old, probably murdered or whatever. But I'll finish watching it. I also spent time today watching the documentary that just dropped on U of M and the cheating scandal. And Connor Stallions, it might be called Stallions. There's chatter on Twitter about it, and it's all about the guy that was apparently spying from the Michigan staff. Did you watch any of it, Chris, or you haven't seen it yet?
You just told me about it today. I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think if you're a Michigan slappy, which I would put myself in that category, that's if I'm going to root for a college football team. I want Michigan State to do well. I want all the Michigan teams to do well, but Michigan is the top of that ladder. I used to cover Michigan pregame for Riff for years. I also covered Michigan State a little bit for a radio station I was at in Lansing for a couple seasons. So I have an affinity for those teams. Michigan's my team. No question about it. There's shenanigans going on here, but I come back to, when you're dealing with the most competitive people on planet Earth, which high-level elite athletes are, they just are. If you're around them on any level, they're super competitive in everything they do. It doesn't surprise me that these guys are constantly looking for whatever, like trying to set themselves, in this multi-billion-dollar industry, like, and if you're the Alabamas of the world and the Michigans and the USCs and the Florida States, like, you have an alumni fan base and a group that can, that is generating money and will do anything to get their team above the top. I think Connor Stallions is kind of a scapegoat in a lot of this, in this documentary, where, it's like, oh yeah, he's fired with pay and, he's suspended with pay and all this stuff. And do I believe Ohio State was digging around and got a group that ended up getting in, illegally obtaining his emails and finding stuff and turning it over to investigators? They deny any involvement in that. I think bullshit. Ohio State absolutely had some involvement in that, especially with 2 straight years of losing to Michigan. It's unacceptable for the Ohio State University. This guy was a Naval Academy Marine, diehard, like as a toddler, wanted to be a Michigan coach. And he was really good at fucking, his background and his training at deciphering signals. And they probably went a little too far with some of that stuff. And I think Connor doesn't help himself in that documentary. There's the famous photo of him that kind of blew this story up, of him being on the sidelines at a Central Michigan game, wearing a Central hat and sunglasses. And they're like, that's him. That's the Michigan coach, the sign stealing guy. He's on the sideline here. And it's like, oh no, I don't recognize that guy. And it's like, no, dude, that's you. That's you. I don't know what games you're playing here. So yeah, that dude there. And then when they asked him, when investigators from the NCAA finally sat down with him and they're like, did you attend the Michigan State Central Michigan game on the sidelines September 1st of 2023? And he's like, I just don't remember. And you're like, okay, they didn't say 1993.
Right.
This would have been a year ago.
Right.
Like, you don't remember being on the sidelines wearing Central Michigan gear? Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it because I don't know enough about it. Like, I remember it. I didn't know. I mean, not being in Michigan when it all went down, I didn't get anywhere near as much news about it as you did. Yeah. I mean, I just knew that there was some strange things afoot at the Circle K, and I just didn't. I have to watch it before I.
Dude, honestly, like, it's one of those stories that I know other people are going to cover it way better than me. So I was just like, whatever these programs are doing, I don't care. The fan will cover it. And, I just don't care enough. I think it's hilarious that these are college students. Like, let's be honest about what college football is. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And like, schooling is dead last on the priorities list of these major programs. It's about generating cash.
Now? Aren't they getting paid now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's fun. I think the new system is way better. The 12-team playoff system is way better. Yeah. Where, like, I wasn't crazy about last season for Michigan football. I just wasn't. It was boring to me.
So wait, there's a 12, now it's 12 teams?
Yeah. Yep.
And how many weeks long is it?
I don't know, a few weeks, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So the conferences have shifted. Like, this idea of like, oh, we play nobody, but as long as we blow them all out 80-0, then we'll be ranked in the top 4 and we'll get a playoff spot. Like, didn't do anything for me. Like, I don't give a shit if you can go take a way inferior team and just kick their teeth in for 4 quarters. Like, that's not. And it's like, okay, wake me up in November when you play real competition to your level, and then the season starts. To me, like, I don't need to see Michigan beat the dog shit out of Eastern Michigan ever again. Or like, I just don't. It doesn't do anything for me. The NFL is perfect the way they lay that out. The parity in the league, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but anyways, it's worth, so my point was, I didn't care really about the cheating scandal. Like whatever. I assume they're all trying to steal each other's signals. It's a fine line and a gray zone, because there's certain levels of it that are okay. Yet it's kind of like Spygate with the Patriots. I just assume all these guys are trying to get any sort of tiny, because it comes down to just fractions of time and millimeters of difference between you and the next greatest thing in the country or in your league. Like the margins are so small that I assume these guys are all trying to tip scales in their favor any way they can, whether that's bringing in a motivational speaker somewhere to rally the troops or, sending, like Michigan has an advantage over Eastern Michigan in that they can afford to send scouts to every game that all their competition plays and have them like those are, unfair advantages that the rich teams have over other teams. So it just doesn't surprise me at all. So I just kind of found it like, whatever,
Yeah.
In the end, whatever. I don't care. I don't know if this is good news or shitty news or,
maybe January 6th.
No. Yeah. the Fedsurrection. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We'll get to January 6th's Fedsurrection in a minute, but, Travis and Jason Kelce have agreed to a new reported deal with Amazon. Are you familiar with Wondery? I've never heard.
Is that a production company?
Yeah, Amazon owned Wondery. I guess they're a podcast.
Okay, I know that now.
Yeah, so they do a podcast called New Heights, the New Heights podcast, and he bangs Taylor Swift now. So he's super important. We need to listen to Travis Kelce no matter what, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but he started sleeping with Taylor Swift.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and so his opinions matter more than anybody else's now, and we need to pay attention to every word that comes out of Travis Kelce's mouth now, because he started sleeping with Taylor Swift. I don't know if you were aware of that, but
he kind of hit the lottery just in his life.
Yeah, no shit.
Big, strong, handsome, great at football. Has a podcast that's now 100+ million that he splits with his brother,
and he owes his brother too, dude. When he was a punk ass kid coming out of high school and into Cincinnati, Travis, he fucked up and got kicked off that damn team. And his brother went to bat for him and groveled his way back onto that team.
Well, you think that's why they're still doing the podcast together? Is one of them's paying the other one back?
Maybe, but Jason's a Hall of Famer himself as a center for the Eagles. I mean, a boring ass position, center. I mean, if you technically know the game, you understand how important the center is and how smart that guy has to be. He's calling all the plays from the front, but it's a boring fat guy position. Historically, no one gives a shit about the center. So it's not as flashy a position as, I don't think Taylor Swift's ever going to start sleeping with a center. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Like,
but you know what he did? Like, first off, Taylor Swift saved the NFL. She just saved it. I don't want to start any controversial topics or whatever. She saved the NFL almost as much as Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese saved the WNBA.
Yeah.
The three of those women have changed professional sports for the better.
Caitlin Clark has, for sure. That's the only name I know of the other two you just mentioned.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson of the WNBA. And Caitlin Clark also saved the WNBA, saved the NBA.
Who did?
Caitlin Clark saved the NBA.
The WNBA or the NBA?
No, the NBA. She saved the NBA also.
How did she do that exactly?
It's so obvious. Okay, so first off, the NBA games are boring. No one plays defense.
Yeah, agreed.
In the WNBA, they can foul you. And like, as I said, you don't even know what it's for. It could be for something you did a couple of months ago to someone else, and they're just getting revenge on you. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I like the WNBA. I think that I watch the Indiana Fever games all the time. I think Caitlin's great.
Yeah, she's supposedly the Steph Curry of chicks.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't do anything for me, but that's me. I understand there's a fan base there, and it would be weird if you wore WNBA game jerseys in your living room. Like, that wouldn't be anywhere near as cool as wearing football stuff. Yeah, I think you're wrong about what I actually did and why.
Yeah, it was baseball gear. Come on.
Yeah, no, it was both, but it was for very specific things. I don't traipse around in those jerseys. But anyways,
when Bo Jackson played, did you have on football pants and a baseball jersey?
No. Yeah, I could have done. No, I would have done that for Dion.
Okay,
but not Bo. I was never a Kansas City Royals fan, so that wouldn't have worked.
Okay.
No, I think it's great. The WNBA, it irks me the way that league is sustained. It's kind of un-American. Like, hey, we need to just keep this league going that nobody historically has cared about. And most businesses, when they lose $1 million a year for 22 straight years, don't exist anymore. But that being said, whatever.
They're going to make bank next year.
Oh, fuck yeah, they will. The NBA, if they want to subsidize that league and keep it afloat for 25 years like they have, so be it. That they can do whatever they want with their money. And if that is something that young girls can look up to, fine, whatever. I don't really have a problem with that. I've laughed at it for many years. I know what really, really high end, elite level athleticism looks like on a court. And that's what I go to if my team's doing well. Football's a different story. I'll watch that even when my team sucks. But if the Pistons suck or the Golden State Warriors suck, I'm not watching a basketball game ever. That being said, Caitlin Clark, what she's done, and I have not watched 1 minute of her play, but I can see the excitement from people. I can see the stories, good and bad, the hate stories, the jealousy stories from them being written like crazy. That they don't write those stories if they don't think they're going to generate eyeballs and there's interest. So, like, good for her. She literally could single-handedly save that league. The problem I've had with that is when you start demanding stuff like, we need to be paid like the men, whether it's the fucking women's hockey league. I didn't even know they had a hockey league until they started making retarded claims like that and demands like that. Because the fact of the matter is the men's leagues, all of them, go ask the guys from the 50s how well they were paid. No, they had summer jobs because their leagues weren't popular enough at the time. They were just starting out. A lot of those leagues back 100 years ago. It took a long time for them to gain the stronghold that we see today. And that these guys are standing on the shoulders of giants that came before them and are making bank today. So when it's like, no, we want the same flight accommodations and a hotel, it's like, yeah. And in 100 years, maybe with a lot of hard work, some girl's going to benefit from all the work you put in, and maybe they'll put a statue up for you. So and maybe that time's arrived now. Caitlin Clark maybe is that savior for the WNBA. Maybe.
So what you're saying is, if the WNBA wants to be successful, they're going to have to start sleeping with Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
It's one way to do it.
That's one way. Yeah, I don't know. First off, I think that's got to be cool for NFL players because now instead of all the fans at the games aren't like furry looking dudes who look like us, now you've got hot girls coming to the game because they want to see. Hot girls
have been going to games.
Like not as many as now. Yeah. Not as many as now. Some of them are probably moving to Kansas City to see her more.
I will admit it's funny. Yeah. It's funny to watch TikTok videos or Instagram videos of people fucking with their boyfriends who are basically lost during the football season. Like they start watching football and their significant others don't exist. Like the guys are super into this thing and historically girls have not been. It's like, ugh, great football season starting. Now I lose this dude. Right. And where it used to be, all day Sunday thing, and then maybe a couple hours on Monday. It's literally now every day of the week. Mm-hmm. So it takes over lives. And so watching girls come in and be like, oh my God, seeing the how Taylor Swift saved football or put this Travis guy on the map and watching guys lose their shit is
so fun to say.
Like it's funny. It really, it's a troll. Like, I can appreciate a good troll as much as anyone, and guys that don't know it and think like, oh my God, this stupid woman believes this, and try to defend it. It's funny.
Are you familiar with Threads? Instagram's answer to Twitter.
Okay. Not really.
Okay. So Threads is pretty cool because you can make money off Threads by the number of people who look at one of your posts. And so, for example, Threads, if you get 5 Threads posts all with 750 views, then you get $90. And then if you get 5 more, then it goes up to like 180. And then you can make as much as $500 a month just tweeting. And it's pretty cool. Whenever I'm I usually hit that mark every month, but it's because whenever I'm want to get a post that is whatever, I want to get a post to get more than 750 clicks or likes or whatever, I just literally say something like Simone Biles is the reason that something, or Caitlin Clark saved the NBA, or Taylor Swift is the reason the NFL makes a profit. And dudes get so mad.
They can't help it.
They can't even fucking.
I bet that would work with Donald Trump as well.
Oh yeah, that post of the Coachella post I made.
Yeah,
with Couch Guy in front of the plane.
Yeah,
walking, and I just wrote Coachella. 38,000. 38,000.
It's funny. I don't care what anyone says. It's funny. Coachella's a great fucking joke. My brother has brought it up a couple times in the week since you posted that joke. Like, that Coachella thing reference is fucking hilarious.
It is good. Yeah.
Like, people need to lighten up about their side being taken so seriously on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it comes down to that. Travis and Jason Kelce, you know, I get offended at some of this because I think doing a podcast, like so many people do it, and it's never, when you talk about equity, like, well, we all land in the same spot. Like, it doesn't work, and meritocracy is a real thing, but there's also something about churning out these celebrities and acting like, wow, this is all like Barack Obama and Bruce Springsteen. We're going to give them $1 billion on top of the $10 billion they already have because they're going to do a podcast. And then it fucking eats shit. And it's like, what was this, a money laundering scheme? Who did you think was going to listen to this garbage? Like, these are people with no background in doing this type of thing. Like, this just seems weird to me that they do it with book deals. You know, like, who's dying to read a Hillary Clinton book? But yet she garners a Joe Biden memoir, $8 million advance. Really? Like, who the fuck? Like, you can't make that make sense. Like, nobody's buying that. Nobody. Right. And so you go, what is this? Is this the golden parachute on the back end? To, you know, what is going on here? And Travis and you know, there's a lot of eyeballs on them. Obviously, people know who Travis Kelce is now because of Taylor Swift. I think we can all agree with that. But, you know, a couple fucking jockhead, meathead guys, you know, doing a podcast, like $100 million, really? $100 million. $100 million.
I guarantee you Taylor Swift saved the podcast industry. You think he gets that offer without her?
No, No, that's what's so offensive about it. What's so offensive about it. Because I know there's great podcasts out there that you'll never hear of, but it's like, oh, he started. That's why I'm so trivial about, oh, he started banging Taylor Swift, and now we all need to care about everything that comes out of his stupid mouth is world news now. And he's not the first. He won't be the last. We see this, but it's still offensive. Like, are they really putting out a $100 million valuable podcast? Maybe a bunch of Swift.
It's very listened to, man. It's very popular.
Yeah, no, I know. I get it. And, you know, you're right. Sprinkle Taylor Swift into the mix. And, you know, I mean, I've seen it where it's like front page news. He even references Taylor Swift or anything with Taylor Swift, and it's front page news.
Well, what's that podcast where it's the annoying tall guy who stands and the guy who looks like a space alien with his hair pulled back? It's on ESPN.
Oh, Scott. Yeah.
Yeah. What, I don't know. It's it's supposed to be like one of the most popular podcasts in sports.
Really?
It's
Scott.
He used to be a punter.
Oh, Pat McAfee. Oh, the alien looking dude. Yeah. I thought you were talking about Scott Van whatever, who does Sports Center. No, you're talking about Pat McAfee.
Yeah, and who's the alien guy? He used to be a linebacker.
Yeah, for the Packers. I can't remember his name, but he creeps me out every time I look at him. Every time I look at him, I'm just like, oof.
He looks like one of Hitler's master race.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's just disturbing looking.
Yeah.
Like that guy, he should, there's so many people, I don't mind. Obviously everyone has an opinion. Everybody's got different opinions. But I fucking AJ Hawk. I can't stand.
I was just about to say, yep.
I can't stand when people think their opinions are more important than anybody else's. It's like, I'm listening to you, dude. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not going to change every fiber of my being if I disagree with you. And every time Pat McAfee talks, I can just see him hitting his girlfriend. You know what I mean? Because he just looks like such an a-hole. Obviously, I don't know if he hit his girlfriend, but he just looks like that kind of guy who, like, babe, I said meatballs, not meat sauce, flips the table. Like, he's that guy.
You think so? I would get that vibe just from a picture of AJ Hawk.
Oh, AJ Hawk for sure has women in cages.
Yeah, that looks like the bad 80s movie villain bully. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, come to life. And you're just like, wait, didn't SNL do a Royd sketch on that fucking face right there?
Probably.
And no offense, like, look, Pat McAfee was a punter in the NFL, and he was a good punter, and he's vocal, and he's kind of balls out, and he's a wrestling guy. Like, I understand, you know, that, like, he grew that from nothing, and maybe that's what the Kelsey brothers are doing. It seemed like much more of a production, a lot more work went into it with Pat McAfee.
Probably.
You know, and there's, but I don't know. Bill Belichick drawing up some shit today as well, stirring up some shit. Actually, on the Pat McAfee show.
What'd he say?
He said something about Taylor Swift. No, I don't get all the outrage about this. It just seems like factual information, but boy, people in Massachusetts pissed off. He was talking about the hardships of trying to bring players to New England. And by the way, when people overreact to these stories, and that's why these guys don't say anything. It's why they just no comment. Like, people have been begging Bill Belichick to say anything with any substance for 20 years. And then he finally says something sort of, and people are like, oh, what an asshole. And you're like, yeah, that's why these guys just go in a hole and they don't fucking say anything. So he was talking about trying to bring players to New England. One of the things he pointed to was the high tax rates in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, referring to one of their most infamous nicknames. Oh, yeah, it's Taxachusetts. They take more from you. So virtually every player, even a practice squad, but even the minimum players are pretty close to $1 million. So once you hit that $1 million threshold, then you pay more state tax in Massachusetts. It's just another thing you have to contend with in negotiations up there. It's not like Tennessee or Florida or Nevada or some of the other teams that have no state income taxes. So you get hit pretty hard on that with the agents. That is just a true statement.
Right.
And
so they're mad at him about that?
Yeah. People are like, yeah, we're all weeping for you, Bill. You can move now that you're unemployed. Let's compare education, healthcare, infant mortality, etc. to Tennessee or other red states. Amazing this doesn't affect any other teams in Boston or other high-tax states. Maybe it was you, Bill. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. Like, I remember one of the Lions players at the time got a second contract, and I was talking to him about it, totally off the record, off the air. And he was like, I got a signing bonus, and it was like $500,000 signing bonus or something. And his agent was like, yeah, we're renegotiating this contract, which was going to kick in towards the end of the year, starting in January of whatever year this was, 98, 2000, somewhere around there. And so the agent had to be very careful that we push this contract till January 1st, that it doesn't land in December of this year. Otherwise, it's going to push you over that $1 million or $2 million, whatever he was getting. This new contract, they were adamant, did not want to kick in until after December 31st. Otherwise, he was going to get walloped on taxes for that year.
Okay.
And so acknowledging that as a fact, it's kind of inside baseball, little in the weeds. It's not something that everybody else has to deal with, worrying about that kind of extreme taxation. Like, pointing that out, I think is interesting. And it's like that. Absolutely. Like, I look at NFL players and teams when you become a free agent, and it's like, I'm going to sign here and I'm going to become $100 million player, 4 years, $25 million, $80 million of that, $100 million is guaranteed, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, I've got that offer from Cleveland. I've also got that offer from New England and San Francisco. And it's like, well, you might want to fucking seriously take a look at what is that money a year going to get you in San Francisco versus what it's going to get you in Cleveland. And you see it in a small way play out with like Brett Favre. His fucking $20 million mansion in Green Bay is still available because there's not that many people that can afford that fucking house.
Or want to.
Want to have a fucking, 50,000 square foot mansion in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You are never going to have that problem in San Francisco or LA. Those properties are gone tomorrow. They're gone. There's too many people that can afford. So it's like, and this isn't original. Colin Cowherd brought this up when he was talking about Brandon Ayuk's contract. And he's like, the difference between Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and getting equivalent money in San Francisco, like, yeah, you might get your ass kicked on taxes here, but you'll never have a problem selling your property. And like historic franchises matter. You win a Super Bowl in a town, all of a sudden you can work there long after your career. So I love when these guys come out and go, yeah, it's something we had to think about was the high taxation rate in Massachusetts. If a player's deciding between this team and another team and they don't really think it all the way through, they might avoid wanting to come here because their money technically goes further in Detroit. Like, that doesn't seem crazy to me.
It's what I've been yelling forever about lowering taxes overall. Everyone's like, oh, tax the rich. I'm like, hey, tax the rich. They're going to get mad and leave too.
Yeah.
That was my job.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you have an opinion, Chris, but.
No, I was just listening to you. You're absolutely correct. It's just a question of where you want to live, what's important to you. Like if being in California and not as big of a house is important because you like the weather, because you like the area, you like the situations, then that's your answer. Yeah. Could you get like a $50,000 square foot house in Green Bay with a bunch of dick pics all over the wall? Of course you could. But
that's Brett Favre, not Aaron Rodgers.
Right. But it's the same thing. It's just like, what's important to you? If you want to have, there's that house that I was so confused about. It's off Losser Road, and Losser run, north and south. And like, I think it was between Lone Pine and Corton. It's Vaughn Road. Right when you turn.
What is that? Bloomfield
Hills, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like right when you turn on Vaughn, there's this cathedral of a home that's gigantic. And it's just like, okay. I mean, like, I don't like if it was probably like easily 5 times the size of your old house. Easily, like, huge, just gargantuan. And it's just like, what do you need that? I don't know. I mean, like that house would be like $70 million in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was probably like 2 million, 2 or 3. Yeah. There. But it's just like, it's important to that person to live there and have a stream in front of their house because, cool. But I think it's all contingent on the individual.
Yeah.
Like basically what you want.
I think it's weird when these guys, and I mentioned Brandon Ayuk because he plays for the 49ers and he's up for a contract deal that he hasn't signed yet. And that when they were kicking around ideas of teams, it's like, oh, Pittsburgh's got an offer and Cleveland has an offer and New England and San Francisco. And it's like, well, the money's all about the same. And it's like, well, then there's nothing to discuss here. Like you sign with the historic franchises. Like if you have the opportunity, like you don't go to Cleveland. You don't fucking go to Cleveland.
But there's much more community in Cleveland than there is San Francisco. Like Cleveland's Detroit, but in a different location. Everybody's it's a small, big city. Everybody thinks you're cool. Everybody loves that you're who you are. San Francisco, there's no real sense of community. Pittsburgh, I don't know what that's like.
Pittsburgh's probably very much like Detroit.
Yeah, and
but Pittsburgh at least has 6 world titles.
Yeah,
like sure. Cleveland doesn't.
But they also have winter.
Yeah.
Cleveland seems like a fun place. I've played in Cleveland a bunch of times. The downtown area is really nice.
What did they call that down by the lake, down by the river?
Mistake.
Yeah. Well, there's that. No, there was a district down there in Cleveland. It's gone now, but that was fucking awesome, man. That was as cool a party town as anywhere I've ever been.
Yeah, I think just to me personally, it comes down to where you're happy. And if you're happy, and I guess that house belongs to Penske, and like then if he wants to live there, cool. And like maybe he doesn't want to. Like there's also something to be said about if you're playing every Sunday in front of 50,000, 100,000 people, and you want to take the off season and go to, Greenwich, Connecticut, or some weird place that's out in the middle of the sticks. It's maybe because you don't want to be around people because you're around people all the time.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that.
That's possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I think these, I don't think it works out well for athletes more times than not when, and I could be wrong. I could be talking on my ass. When they go for like, I want max dollar on everything, I'm going to get whatever. And it's like, you got to be thinking further than a 10-year window, because that's what your career in these leagues are. Unless you're a kicker, a punter, a quarterback, most of these guys, it's like a 10-year flash. And it means something to be in a market for your whole career, or being in a historic market with a franchise like that has to hold some weight too. And it seems like so many of these guys don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be thinking about that, but what do I know? Were you looking something up there, Garrett? You looked at feverishly.
Oh no, I was just kind of listening to you guys while I tried to see if I can find that house at Lost and Vaughn you were talking about.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Is it a Penske house?
Gary said that the house belongs to Penske.
Oh, okay. And wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, I just wanted to say, in case I forget, my podcast is tomorrow.
Okay.
Newberg Pod. If you guys want to listen to it, it's just like this, except Hannah is way prettier than Mike.
Yeah, she is. She's very pretty.
No one's as pretty as you, Garrett.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How are you getting along with Hannah? Is she pretty cool? You guys having fun?
She's awesome.
Yeah.
I have no idea what happened. Our last episode, we got, like, as I said, 15 new subscribers.
That's great.
And like and our YouTube views like up to 500 or 444 for the last episode. No clue why. I'm happy. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to hog the space.
No, it's fine.
Let some people
it's
know.
Fine. You should also let people know October 11th. Is that the date?
Yeah. October 11th, Friday, Wildwood Amphitheater. You should totally go. Discount code Newberg20. You should come out. Machine Gun Kelly's going to be there allegedly. Beyonce is going to be there allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Don't say Machine Gun Kelly. You want people to go to the show.
Oh, Machine Gun Kelly's not going to be there.
Taylor
allegedly.
Swift will be there. That's all.
Taylor Swift is going to be there with
both
the Kelsey brothers. That's the rumor.
I heard Taylor Swift single-handedly saved your career.
She did.
Yeah,
she did. Again, like before her,
impressive.
My knock jokes were just knock, no punchlines.
Yeah. Well, good luck. I had someone text me and say they just reserved 6 tickets to that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah, it's on a Friday. I'm in.
Yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They said they were listening to us talk about it yesterday, and got 6 tickets.
Was it
full of shit? I don't know.
Is it that guy who owns the Deer Lake Athletic?
Yeah. I was just going to do a read for him. Yeah, he texted me yesterday.
I have not met him. He is the nicest person. He sends me the nicest text messages.
Yeah. Super great guy. And he wants you to come in. He was asking me yesterday for Garrett's number, and Garrett's welcome to come for food. And I was like, yeah, reach out to Garrett. I don't need to be a fucking go-between. So
hey, be nice.
No.
He's advertising on your show. Be nice.
I am nice. I'm also honest. I'm not. You can reach out to Garrett. You're not to find him.
There's not a lot of proof for nice right now. You're someone's.
This part of the show. Don't tell me how to do my show. My listeners have an expectation about what I do and what I say. So please,
Jerry.
If I wanna shit on someone for fucking anything, I will. And you deal with it.
First off, Taylor Swift is no longer going to help your career.
Well, I brought her up for a reason. I'm hoping that we're going to get all kinds of Swifties watching the show now.
They all have ears. All right,
dude.
Read your
listen.
thing.
I'll be honest with you. I fucking love Taylor Swift.
So
I'm a big fan. I'm not a huge fan of the music, but I respect anybody that writes their own shit, performs their own shit. Like, I don't care what kind of leg up they got because their dad's connected in the music business. Like, I don't give a shit. That girl can absolutely blow out a stadium, and I have mad respect for it.
And she
simple as that.
Pays her staff very well. Like, gives them bonuses and everything. Very good to her people. I appreciate that too. I
love hearing that stuff too. Big fan of that. This part of the show is brought to our dear friends, Forey, his whole family, his dog Shiloh, who is one of Cece's best friends, our folks there at the Deer Lake Athletic Club. Deer Lake Athletic Club offers a full gym, fitness classes, 3 pools, swim lessons, tennis, pickleball, and more. Backcourt Restaurant inside the Deer Lake Athletic Club has weekly specials like Taco Tuesday, kids meals for $5 on Thursdays, live entertainment on Fridays, and their newest Sippin' Saturdays featuring half-off wine and appetizers. Call 248-625-8686 for more information. Again, that's 248-625-8686, or stop in at 6167 White Lake Road in Clarkston, or visit their website at DeerLakeAthleticClub.com and thank them for all the support over the years. Certainly appreciate it. Kamala Harris, haven't mentioned her. We're an hour in. We haven't mentioned Kamala Harris. Apparently, she's got a new thing. We'll get used to it, dude. It's only going to get worse. She's repeatedly talked about shutting down the border wall. Border walls don't work. In fact, they're racist. I don't know if you heard about that, but
the border walls are racist.
Racist, horribly racist. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Aren't they? Wouldn't a border wall not be human? Wouldn't it be like an inanimate object?
What do you mean?
It doesn't have an opinion. It's a wall.
Yeah, no, don't bring logic to the argument, J. Chris Newberg.
Tell that to the statues they took down during the Floyd riots.
Yeah, those inanimate objects were racist too.
All right.
You know, founding of the country, fathers of the country, all those need to be ripped down.
The one Abraham Lincoln statue they burned.
Abraham Lincoln came down.
They took down a Lincoln statue.
Robert E. Lee statues came down. I love that when there was the Chinese guy who was a broadcaster on ESPN named Robert Lee, and they took him off the air.
For real?
I swear to God, yeah. And then we made the argument, well, why not Bob Lee? Like, yeah, he spells his name Ley. He's on ESPN. He's still allowed to broadcast. What? Because this guy goes by Robert Lee, the Asian broadcaster. You had to remove him from a game. Like it didn't make any sense. But anyways, Kamala is now up for a border wall, which is kind of wild. She's now she's never been for the border wall. This is what pisses me off about the media so much when I bitch about them, is outrageous shit like that. Like, we could pull up hours of video of her calling walls racist. They don't work. They're Donald Trump's vanity project, waste of taxpayer dollars. By the way, whenever they bring that one up, it's about $5 billion, which is the definition of mouse nuts when it comes to the federal budget. When you're talking about protecting your borders, $5 billion is fuck all, nothing. And now they're going to be worried about wasting taxpayer dollars. Hilarious. But now that she's the nominee, she's suddenly vowed to sign a bill that would allocate hundreds of millions of dollars to continue building a wall along the southern border. No, it's going to be billions, Kamala. It wouldn't be hundreds of millions. So construction came to a screeching halt. We all remember that. Garrett, I know you were paying attention to that. When her and Joe Biden took office in 2021, she said as president on Thursday, she would sign the bipartisan border security bill that Republicans killed. Just read the bill and you'll see why that was killed. It requires the Trump border wall, Senator James Langford said. It is in the bill itself that it sets the standards that were set during the Trump administration. Here's what will be built. Here's how it was to be built. The height, the type, everything during the Trump construction. As a senator, she tried to block Trump's construction of the border wall. As borders are, Kamala Harris halted construction of the border wall. Maybe if she sat down for an interview, she could explain her views on the border wall. Until then, we can only look at her record of supporting open borders. Trump aides have called the report false, meaning her saying like, yeah, I'm for a border now, and asked how much longer the mainstream media will allow Kamala Harris to hide and use staff to speak on her behalf. It's day 37 of 0 interviews, and Kamala's anonymous campaign sources are now claiming she supports the border wall. This is preposterous. Kamala's record proves she is open border. So she's slammed the wall initiative. We used to play the videos of this all the time. And this idea, so there were a lot of people that were like, hey, money's been allocated for a border wall. Taxpayer funding has been allocated for a border wall when Trump was president. And he put up 500 and some miles of border wall. And the rest of the wall was sitting there waiting to be installed when a new regime came in and halted it immediately. Well, people on the GOP side started to make rumblings about forcing them to finish the wall since taxpayer funds were allocated to that. So Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had a solution, and they decided to start selling the wall off for pennies on the dollar. Garrett, I'm sure you remember this.
Yep.
Quite well. I don't know how much you've paid attention to this, Chris.
I didn't know the pennies on the dollar.
Oh,
yeah. They sold back all the materials at an extreme loss.
Yeah, extreme loss. But
Okay.
we the taxpayers paid for it already. This story's from August 19th, 2023. The Biden administration is quietly auctioning off millions of dollars worth of unused parts from Trump's border wall for peanuts in an apparent end run around pending legislation in Congress. That pending legislation is what I just talked about. Them going, hey, wait a minute. This went through the proper channels. Funds were allocated. They've just decided on their own to stop this. That's illegal. Those funds are specifically allocated for this. We demand that they do that. That's what the fear was. So it was like, sell everything. And then we can go, I don't know. There's no border wall to put up. We don't have a border wall anymore. Cute how that works. Mm-hmm. So since April, GovPlanet, an online auction house specializing in military surplus, has sold 81 lots of steel square structural tubes intended for use as vertical bollards in the border barriers, 30-foot tall panels, hauling in about $2 million. GovPlanet netted $154,000 for 729 of the 28-foot tall hollow beams sold in 5 separate lots for an average of $212 a piece. 13 more sets were to be auctioned August 23rd and August 30th. Again, this goes back to August of 2023. Up to $300 million worth of taxpayer-funded wall components have been left to rust since Biden took office. The Finish It Act is what will make the feds use those materials on new wall construction or hand the remaining stock over to states like Texas for use in their own border defense projects. And that's when they were like, uh-oh, better sell this shit off. Cut it up, melt it, sell it. So they didn't want anyone to pass any sort of bill forcing them to do it. It's just lunacy, and so that it's stuff like that drives me nuts, because I think it's a very popular thing. Like, border security is important to a lot of people. People don't, people understand that. And so if you have someone like Kamala Harris, like, her track record's been crystal clear about how racist a border wall is, how it doesn't work. It's Trump's vanity thing. This is for feeding Trump's ego and that alone. When she's been saying that stuff on record for years and years and years, then gets the nominee, gives zero fucking comment or interviews, answers anyone's questions, and then it starts leaking out that she's pro border wall. It's meant to fool stupid people. It's meant to, or not stupid again. I always call them stupid. They're not stupid. They're ill-informed because you have a callous media not doing its job properly and informing people about the true nature of these topics. And when they view something that they don't like, they ignore it. They ignore it like it's not a real thing, or they just slander anybody that takes question or issue with it instead of giving people an honest thing. And so you have people that are very focused on, if you're just watching ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, that's a lot of outlets. If you're just reading the New York Times, Washington Post, if you're just reading the Atlantic and Rolling Stone magazine, you're not fully informed about what's really going on with these things, or you're not really going to know what Kamala Harris says about these things. And so when you pop up out of nowhere, when there's a lot on the line and an election on the line, and go, oh yeah, I'm for strong border security. Excuse me if people like me that have been paying attention don't go, wait a minute, explain that to me.
Since when?
Make that make sense a little bit, because everything you've ever said doesn't make sense. And this is why it's so bad to have someone at this level of politics not giving interviews. It's why you need to get these people on record. Like, someone's got to do an interview with, like, you're running not just to be the extreme lefts or progressives. You're running to be the president for the whole country. You're running to be my president.
Do you think she's going to win?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that they look, man. I think it goes way deeper than this. I think that if by any means necessary means a lot to these people, and they've tried to lock Trump up. They've tried to bankrupt him. They've tried to kill him on some level. Like, I don't know what else you can do. I was saying that how long ago, Garrett? A year ago, that they're going to kill this dude.
Yeah,
that you're getting to the point where you're running out of options.
So you think he's going to lose?
I think no. I think he would win overwhelmingly if things were fair. I don't know that you can get a fair election. I hate even talking about it because you sound like a conspiracy nut. But I don't know. This to me is tipping scales. Did you see Quentin Tarantino? Do you have the video there, Garrett, on with Bill Maher? And Quentin Tarantino says the quiet part out loud, exactly what the fear is of, you should be able to go to the media and give your position on something. You should be able to do that. If you want to run the free world, if you want to run this country, you should have no problem. 95% of the media out there is going to be friendly to you anyways. They should be able to ask you questions, have you clarify positions, explain more in depth about something. But when you have a real fear that this person can only fuck this up. But go ahead. Let's hear Quentin Tarantino explain it.
The left and their ability or their desire to engage with anyone who's not already in the bubble. And they get a big fat D- on that.
I couldn't agree more.
Right. I mean, you see Kamala. I mean, I'm glad she's doing well. I'm glad we have a real fight now for president. But doesn't talk to the press, would never go near me. And I'm, when you won't go near the people who are going to vote for you, I'm going to vote for you. Do I have to love everything? No, I don't. It just shows they're afraid. And you're right. I see it so much.
Well, hold on. I don't. Okay, you know what? I don't see her. Well, there's no reason for her to go on your show before the election. But I can actually see her.
Yes, there is. Because I speak to the exact voter she needs, the person who is in the middle, the person who is not ideologically captured by either side. Now, there are some who watch who are that, and everyone is welcome. I need a bigger audience all the time. I'm greedy that way. But basically, that's exactly the audience she needs. The MSNBC crowd is already voting for her. People who watch me, who will decide, this election will probably be decided in like 4 states by something like 80,000 votes in each. That's how these elections, how close they are these days. And that's where we're back to. We're at least back to normal, which sucked, but it is normal that it's 50-50 going into the election. With Biden, it wouldn't have been.
Let me ask you about this, though. Okay, look, there's nothing you said that isn't right, all right? And there's definitely nothing you said that isn't right in a normal election cycle. I mean, it's irrefutably right in a normal election cycle where you have a year to set your case. I think there's just all about winning the fucking election, all right? And then the easiest path to winning the election, look, you can talk about maybe she should have had more guts about this or that and the other, but we're the fucking president.
Right.
And Trump's not the president, and we're the fucking president, and now it's going to be about this. But this is about fucking winning. What most people don't give the Democrats enough credit for, all right, but we give the Republicans credit for. It's like, no, sometimes it's just about fucking winning. And it doesn't matter how we look at this moment. It's about fucking winning.
Right.
This is about fucking winning.
Yep. No, it is.
It's a mad fucking dash, and she is running, and she's not stopping to stumble.
And you know what?
And there's nothing wrong with stopping this. I'm going to vote for her fucking anyway, no matter what she says in a stupid fucking interview.
Exactly.
So don't fuck shit up.
Wow. That is
one way to put it.
So essentially what Quentin Tarantino is saying there is he's admitting there's virtually no chance that Kamala Harris, with her opinions and her beliefs, could help bolster her case to be elected by this nation to run it. There's no chance. All she can do, if she opens her mouth and speaks, is potentially fucking blow it up. That's the only thing she can do. And so we would rather lie, cheat, whatever we need, just drag her across the finish line. Don't let her talk to anybody. Don't put her in front of a fucking a real journalist. Don't put her in front of a microphone. Don't let her speak at anywhere, at a fucking restaurant in the middle of the country. Don't let her near an open microphone at all. Otherwise, she could fucking lose. Well, why would she lose, Quentin? Because maybe something that's going to come out of her mouth is so fucking batshit crazy and so not what the regular people in this country would want that she's going to blow it up. And you can't have that. It's only about winning. It's only about winning. It's not about having a great platform that regular Americans can go, yeah, I believe the way she does. I believe in what she's offering this country. She's laying out a plan here that I can get behind. And you know what? I didn't know. I don't like Trump. I wasn't sure about her. But that chick just changed my opinion, man. She's strong. No, that's not the message. It's all about winning. And what's the best way we can do it? Bury this bitch. Do what we did with Joe Biden. Stuff him in a basement somewhere, blame COVID, and just drag his corpse across the finish line. However we have to do it. It's disgusting to watch on its face.
Worked for OJ.
I want to hear from someone who's going to be my president too, Quentin. She's not just some liberal toy for you, for the massive fucking bloated egos that is Hollywood, the multi-gazillionaires and oligarchs who run this shit show. She's speaking to be the president for me as well. The poor people in the middle of the country. So yeah, this little game you're playing where we're just going to hide her from speaking publicly is a fucking insult and a joke. And you should be ashamed of yourself for even having that attitude. Your attitude is our person sucks so fucking bad. We need to pretend that her opinions aren't what they are. We're just going to fucking make shit up and drag her across the fucking finish line. And we'll deal with this once she's won. Pathetic. Embarrassing. Now Kamala's team is coming out, having open discussions internally about which reporter and specifically race and gender gets to do a major interview with her. As if that's what's important to the country. Oh, is it a black person with a vagina that's going to talk to her? Oh, thank God. Why does any of that matter? Does that matter to anyone sitting here? And how insulted, I'm sorry. If you're one of those journalists that she's targeting, that should be an absolute fucking insult and a slap in the face to you as a professional. Period. You should be able to go, I have some journalistic integrity. It's not the color of my skin that got me here or what I have between my legs that got me here. No, I'm a professional and I deserve that level of respect. How little respect do you have for me in my job as a fucking pro to be what you think because she's a woman, I can't interview her properly? That's insulting on its face. These are the real conversations that are happening. Staffers are asking their reporter friends which journalist should get that first sit down, according to this new report. When President Soup was looking for a running mate in 2020, he said he wanted to choose a black woman. And now we're not allowed to say that, okay, well, that's a DEI hire by definition. When you're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, I don't have a problem with bringing a black woman into the mix. I just wish you wouldn't have told us. Well,
may I?
Yeah, of course.
Do you remember when Bush chose quail?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny.
No. Yeah. Potato.
Yeah. Do you want to know what the deciding factor in choosing quail was?
He wasn't going to, but let me guess. I don't remember, but it must have been something along the lines of, we can't have someone smarter than George Bush. And we have to get it.
He was photogenic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that how JFK won? It was like one of the first televised debates, and people saw the other guy was sweaty and all crazy, and the other one looked presidential.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was photogenic. And as far as, what I got out of what Quentin was saying is, it's just like it's the OJ defense. It's like bad stuff happens, like you're saying, if this person speaks, and it's all about winning. And in the OJ case, it was all about winning, so they weren't going to let that dude talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he didn't say anything.
Yeah. Never let your lying guilty defendant on the stand.
But don't you think it's going to be like mayhem, like equivalent to what would have happened if Trump was assassinated and all January 60 again? If he loses, like he's not going to be. I think if Kamala loses, she'll go, well, all right, good luck. It was a good race. Peace out. But I think if Trump loses, he's going to fucking go bananas, and he's not going to accept it.
I doubt it.
Dude,
no.
If Trump wins, this country will fucking ignite. Are you kidding me?
You don't think the same thing happens if he loses?
Maybe. I don't know. It depends.
There'll be January 6th Eve shirts. It'll be I'm just like, the only thing that I 1000% respect your passion for this, and I in no way I'm learning as much about it, as not being a very political person and seeing both of your much more educated approach than I have. But I am more afraid of the outcome on any level.
Me too.
In this situation, because it's like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be chill.
Yeah. No, I fear that both ways. Regardless of who wins, I fear that if conservatives get out of control, it will be an insurrection and January 6th, and oh my God, they're trying to. But if the liberal side gets out of control, it's peaceful, mostly peaceful protesters. They can do billions of dollars in damage, murder dozens of people, destroy small businesses across the entire country,
take over 6 blocks of the city.
Cities, and it's just some peaceful protesting. So that's the difference in reporting. I've been covering it for fucking years. I've seen it firsthand how they go about this. So, if it is what it is, it's going to be ugly either way. But these people have a extreme, like, there's a lot that comes with if you end up getting a bunch of conspiracy theorists, which is something I've never been in my life. I'm sure you have, Garrett, and that's fine. It's a young person's game. I've never been, but if that's what's being bred right now, that's on them. That's their fault. If the level of distrust in these institutions has gotten so out of control that people can't, like, I just don't believe that Joe Biden under any circumstance ever could garner 81 million votes ever. I just don't. I don't think you could possibly. The only way that would be humanly possible if it was just a hate vote against Trump. Like, I hate this guy so much that I'm willing to vote for this idiot. I don't believe he was more popular than Barack Obama. I don't believe that for a second. It doesn't make any sense. So many anomalies that took place during that election are worthy of conversation. They just are. You don't have to agree with them. You can call people crazy conspiracy theories or January 6th. Call them whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. There's, this election, I fear the rule changes they did during COVID they've tried this in other countries. They've tried changing voting systems, and France did it once and went, fuck that. This is rife with trouble, with shenanigans. Like, they immediately changed. Oh, nobody does it this way. And it's like, are you so demanding to have elections run this way where there's no way to know what level of shenanigans and bullshit is going on. Like, that, to me, I want absolute free and fair elections. It's not just a buzzword or buzz sentence for me. I really mean that. And may the best person win. But, this idea of like win at all cost, I take them at their word when they say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really do. That, to Quentin Tarantino, life will never be the same if someone like Donald Trump gets into the White House. Never. And so to those people, it's the age old thing. Like, if you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, would you? Well, you'd have a duty to society to prevent Hitler. And when you bill your opponent not as an opponent who's got different views than you, but literally as Hitler, well, then nothing's off the table. Nothing. Right. You know? What were you going to say, Garrett? You look like you want to say something.
I think Trump might win, and this is kind of the tinfoil hat coming out, that camp. But a lot of people are saying right now that the Democratic Party, the big higher-ups in the moment, are the Obamas, and they're kind of the ones calling all the shots and running everything. And Joe Biden and Obama have not gotten along very famously, but Joe Biden was a controllable guy. And kind of as a final fuck you out on the way out the door, Joe Biden put Kamala up before they could put their own guy in there.
Exactly.
That's the theory that's going on right now.
Seymour Hersh reported on this. I read the article about it.
I think Trump might win it just because I don't think Kamala's getting any support from the Obamas. They're kind of pissed off about that.
I think it's much bigger than that.
It gets bigger for sure. I'm going surface on it.
The Obamas were apparently livid.
Yeah.
That Joe, because Joe sent his statement out saying like,
I'm
leaving Kamala. And then it was 20 minutes later that he went, by the way, I'm endorsing Kamala Harris. And Obama was apparently fucking pissed.
He was not there for the...
And he wanted and the reason was not because he doesn't love Kamala Harris. He didn't think she could win. He thought there were so many problems with her that the American public wasn't going to buy it. And so that's what his fear was. Not that he didn't like her and everything she stood for. He didn't think the American public would buy her. And so he was like, let's have a quick primary. We'll have a short primary season. May the best man win. But they ran into a fucking, when you live and die by identity politics. How do you take the first female black person off the ticket? What are you going to do? Put Gavin Newsom's white ass in there? Yeah. That doesn't look good. That doesn't work. So, it was kind of a tight spot they were in. Kind of a tight spot. But yeah, that was apparently a giant double middle fingers from probably Jill Biden. Yeah. Not so much Joe. I honestly believe Joe doesn't have much say in what's going on, to be honest with you. But for Jill fucking despises Kamala Harris, no matter what the media plays along with, despises her. She's never forgiven her for the shot at calling Joe Biden racist in the debate in 2019. She's never gotten over that. It's a problem when 50% of your country doesn't believe that you can get a fair shake. Chris, I think you're right. That if the left loses, they'll throw a fit like they did when Trump won the first time. They'll throw an absolute screaming "why" into the sky fit everywhere. There will be riots, all kinds of shit. We'll have pussy marches all over again. That will happen 100%. If Donald Trump loses, and it looks like it did last time, where you don't know, where it looks like these weird anomalies that don't make a lot of sense. When you look at historical truths about how these elections go, when they're math equations essentially, and when those math equations go right out the window and they don't make any sense, people are going to question that. And those people, I don't know how they react, Chris. I don't. It scares me. I worry about it.
It's going to be ugly.
It's potentially going to be very ugly, and it's going to destroy a lot of people's careers, lives. They will go after people hard, like they did with January 6th. They're not afraid to throw fucking grandmas in prison for months and years. Like
grandmas who shot people?
Huh?
Grandmas who shot people?
What grandma shot someone?
I don't know. I just decided
the one at January 6th who killed what's her face?
You mean the cop that shot Ashley Babbitt?
No. It was totally an old lady.
What?
That's
what are you talking about? What's that?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're just making shit up. Okay. Yep. See, I'm taking you as legit. Like,
no,
I was like, wait a minute. Is there talk of a grandma shooting people in the Capitol?
There's gonna be now. All right, I'm fading now. I need my sandwich.
Yeah. Go. You can check out. Garrett and I will wrap it up. I'll do an email or two, and then we'll fuck off.
Okay. Well, I love you both. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. See you tomorrow, dude. Bye. Yeah, man. It's I know Chris bails on this stuff. This is out of his.
He doesn't want to get in trouble.
No, he doesn't want to get in trouble, and he doesn't. You know what? I get it, dude. I get it. I totally do, and I hope other people get it as well. There are a lot of people that have listened over the years that cannot hear me go off about this stuff. I firmly believe in my heart I would not waste your time with this shit if I didn't think it was that important.
That's
really
how
wouldn't.
I am with my family.
You know, I think it's that important. I'm willing to lose listeners. I'm willing to have falling outs with people. I don't wish any ill will towards anybody. I want nothing but love and respect for my country. I think these people are dangerous. I think they're dangerous. I think it's fucking sad when Quentin Tarantino believes the best way forward is to make sure his fucking candidate doesn't say a word.
I was just about to
keep her. That's sad. It's scary. It should tell you the level we're at. And the fact that Bill Maher can sit there and go, are you fucking kidding me, man? She wants to speak for all of us. She wants to run the free world. And you think the best strategy is this one? To hide her in a basement somewhere so the media and all the lemmings can drag her ass across the finish line, and then we'll see what she's about. That's horrible.
I was going to make
so out of touch, man. Go ahead.
I was going to make the joke of I think Quentin Tarantino is just fully blindly supporting the left because he knows if he supports the right, immediately all his Pulp Fiction roles coming back up to haunt him.
What do you mean his Pulp Fiction roles?
His role as Jimmy in Pulp Fiction, you know.
Oh,
when you pulled up to my house, did you see a sign on my garage that said
"Dead N-word store"?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hard R and all. Right to Samuel Jackson's face.
I don't. You know, I mean, he's got a lot of Harvey Weinstein connections, and there's shenanigans abound on his sets as well.
There's a lot of deep skeletons in the Tarantino closet, I think. And
what's that? Yeah, maybe.
Favorite director of all time. Weird fucking dude.
I think they've created a situation out there where they can absolutely live in a bubble. And I know that's a common talking point and whatnot, but it's very easy for them to go to very exclusive party. They are not going to your block party. Okay. No. They're not. They're going to $20 million mansions and hanging out, eating and drinking with the most sophisticated palates in the world and discussing the lemmings and you know, they think of us as lesser than stupid people, and they know what's best. They just do. They have massive, bloated, overinflated egos. They think they know what's best for everybody. They can't possibly understand the difference in Taco Bell selling a burrito for $1.20 and now $3.50. Yeah. To them, that doesn't mean anything. That, like, you got to keep that in mind. When milk is $1.20 a carton and then it's $5 a carton, that doesn't mean anything to Quentin Tarantino. It doesn't mean anything to Bill Maher. It just doesn't. It doesn't mean anything to Don Lemon. It means something to, you know, and for me, it's like, yeah, this sucks. Oh man, it used to cost me $10 to eat at Taco Bell. Now it costs $18. Well, when you have a family of five, it's 5 times that.
Yeah.
Like, all the little things are so much more. So when they just discard it and like, we just got to keep Trump out at all costs because he's mean, essentially, you know, just make up a bunch of shit, threat to democracy. He's going to end world peace, and he's going to fucking, you know, put all his opponents in prison, like all the shit he never did when he was president, actually.
Yeah. When they're doing to him now.
Yeah. All the shit. Exactly. It's projection like I've never seen. It's cover from the media like I've never seen. And while these Hollywood elites have always been disgusting human beings who get way more than they ever deserve in this life, they're not capable of seeing it. They're just fucking not. You know, when Michelle Obama can take the stage with a straight face and say, you know, my mom and dad were suspect of anybody that took more than they needed. And it's like, bitch, which one of your 4 mansions is enough for you? Like,
not just that, her mom, I found out later on, actually worked as a banker in a large firm who dealt with rich people on a daily basis, like, and helped them with money management. So that was her mom's whole job, was trusting rich people with money.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. But I also totally get that some people don't want anything to do with this. They can't wait for football to start back up in a week and a half or 2 weeks, whatever it is, and they just and you know, it might be a situation where this country is going to go through some real serious turbulence, no matter what, come November 6th. right?
Yep.
If we know, who knows? I just don't trust these people. It comes back to that, and we'll see what happens. But I think Chris is not wrong that, he wants to act like this only happens on one side, like, oh, January 6th. Like, well, if you do a little research into January 6th, you might know a little more too. And you wouldn't make flippant comments like that. But I understand it. I know people that I care for dearly that have the same lightly informed opinion about some of these things. And, I can't do the research for people. I can't. They're not getting much help though from their media. They're just not. They're left to their own devices. It's what I do for a living, so I'm paying a lot of attention. You being here every day, you're paying a lot more attention, Garrett. And you've been paying attention since you were a kid, I'll be honest. But a lot of people aren't, and they don't want that. They don't want the negativity in their life. I'm not going to let it go because I think it's that important. It's a time like we haven't seen in this country. That's just my personal opinion on this. So we got an email from James. He brought up Sandler, and I don't know. We were talking about his new movie, blah blah blah, coming out. Sorry.
Yeah, and he was just on Rogan. Sandler was.
Yeah. He was just on Rogan, but no, I was talking about, Travis Kelce's going to be in his movie, Happy Gilmore 2 or whatever, and we were hoping that it'd be good. I think we were talking about other good movies that he's done, Happy Gilmore and
That's My Boy.
That's My Boy. Is that the one with the little kid?
No, that's Andy Samberg. The one with the little kid is
That's My Boy. Yeah.
Steve is
Daddy something? Big Daddy?
Something. I think it's Big Daddy.
Yeah. That was not bad. James brings up Grandma's Boy, Wrong Missy, and That's My Boy. All good ones.
Yep.
Wrong Missy's great. He's not the star of Wrong Missy. Wrong Missy is Spade.
That's kind of the same thing with That's My Boys. The main star is really Andy Samberg. I mean, Adam Sandler is a main character, but it's half and half, and I think that helps Adam Sandler a lot when it's not all him.
I agree, dude. To James's point, there was a long line of fucking great shit from Sandler. I don't find his stand-up funny at all. I could do without the hoodly-hoo, shit.
Yeah.
But those movies were great in their time. They're fucking awesome. And they hold up better than they should. Yeah. Happy Gilmore still works, man. The one of him going back to school or whatever, I always forget the name of it.
Billy Madison
is fucking great. It's great. The drops the sound bites are fucking hilarious. They,
Pee in your pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis.
Yeah, it's hilarious. There's so much in those. It never stops. Bobby Boucher, Foosball, like that movie's great. They're just great.
Yeah.
Blazing Saddles, one of the best, but shot in a hodgepodge, disconjointed way. How can you not know it by heart? Another Brooks film, highly underrated, is History of the World Part 1, and only Part 1. Watch them now. I know I've seen History of the World Part 1. I'm sure of it. Blazing Saddles, it's been fucking forever.
Definitely
if I saw it
holds up.
Yeah, well, that means something to me coming from you, because that would have been before your generation at all. Yeah. Garrett is so full of shit.
Oh boy.
Oh, suck my balls, Mr. I'm 30, 32 pants size. That's all I ever come across. You gross. Seriously, everywhere. I'd go bankrupt if I bought every 30, 32 while looking for my size.
Well, tell you what, give me a list of stores because I would like to work this out.
I don't remember what you said. You said you couldn't find 30, 32?
Yeah,
I agree.
It's hard for me to find tall, skinny pants, and that's one of the things. It's like usually tall people are also bigger, so the pants are more in the waist than just leg.
Yeah. I feel like I see a lot of 30, 32s. I used to be.
That's the usual one I go for.
I used to buy 30, 32s.
Oh, shit.
And they were a little long, obviously. I was probably more like a 30 trying to squeeze into like a tall person's jeans. But now I'm like, I usually get a 30. I was a 36, 30. But I could probably do a 34, 30 nowadays.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. 36 would probably be baggy as shit, honestly. But I don't know.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever be a 30-32 though. You fucking anorexic sack of shit.
I'd also like
hate you 30-32s.
Oh, it gets worse. I'd like to add that I also wear a belt that I had to drill an extra hole into. So
I've done that. I have done that.
I have to do that all the time. Every belt I buy, I have to drill more holes.
I've had them inch up to the last hole too.
Yep.
Yeah, where I'm like, you've never experienced this, where it's like, I went through 12 holes and I'm on the last one. It's barely hanging on by a thread because I've gotten so fat. I've been that guy, and I've also been the drill holes in it guy.
I've done the drill holes, and then I've had to drill more holes past that one, which is a problem.
Yeah. Eat some shit, man.
I'm trying.
Go to Burger King, get a Whopper combo, drop $150, and you'll be good. You pack those pounds on, no problem.
You say
all right,
that,
let's
man.
get out of here, dude.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. You're at that stage where you can eat anything you want and never gain a pound.
Once I'm 30, it'll hit. It'll hit when I'm 30.
No, you'll always be skinny. Always. My brother can eat like a fucking horse. He's skinny as shit. So
I hope so.
Yeah, you will. Your frame, you're never gonna have to worry. I mean, you'll get a little pudgy, out of shape, shit like that, but you'll never not be skinny tall.
Cool.
All right, let's get out of here, dude. We'll call it a day. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do a members only show on Thursday. So if you go to patreon.com/TDC podcast, become a member, sign up. We're trying to grow that. And also I haven't mentioned it, usually I have in front of me for those that don't know, I have notes that just meant to remind me to mention the Amazon link. Go to radiofor1.com, click the Amazon link. We've got an affiliates page there on the front. Obviously it doesn't cost you anymore, but it helps us out on this end. If even a fraction of you listeners did that, it would go a long way.
I just used it recently.
Did you? Yeah, my brother used it the other day to buy a TV, and I'm eternally grateful.
I got a deck of Magic cards just sprawled out across the floor right here that I bought on the TDC code.
There you go. We probably made 2 cents off that. It all piles up. We need it.
2 cents off my own order.
Yeah. I love it. So, go to radiofor1.com, check the site out, whatever. And use those affiliate links. They do help us out and sign up at patreon.com/TDC podcast. Use promo code TDC at MyPillow. Thank you. I saw someone just yesterday, I think, bought something from over there. I don't know who that is. Obviously, don't give me the names of people, but I did see that there was a purchase that came in. A bunch of people bought stuff over the last month. So thank you all. Garrett, have a great rest of the day.